Okay, I'm gonna do this video. Where did I put my phone? Hold on. 1 second. Crazy. Okay, I'm back. So I wanted to, first off, this is the first video of 2024 for me. And I've been super busy. Been crazy busy, doing a lot of different things and starting my own stuff. So yeah, I've been kind of busy doing not only work, but if you don't know, we own a pottery studio here in Tacoma. So I've been doing that. It's been doing very, very well. Our business has grown tremendously. Every year has been a major blessing. This year is no different. We've started off with a bang. We're entering into contracts with the school district and different things. So it's been really, really good. Also branching into other things that I want to do also, which I won't talk about here at this point, but definitely later. We'll talk about it in more detail as things get a little bit more firmer. But things are going pretty good. Tacoma, though not perfect, there are things that definitely upset me about Tacoma that I don't like or that I think is wrong. But there are things that are actually pretty decent, pretty good. One of them, which surprises me that we don't have more of, is entertainment and tourism related things here in Tacoma. I don't understand it. Tacoma is a city that's about 220,000 people. The city proposes that by 2040, we'll add another 140,000 people. Is that right? 2040? 140,000 people will be added to the city, something like that. I don't know if that's going to be accurate or not, but if that is true, that puts us pretty high up there in terms of just regular, everyday cities. It'd make us bigger than St. Louis, I believe. Our metro area, meaning that and for us, because again, Seattle takes up all of the metro area. So really, if we were in Spokane's position, for example, or Bowling Green, Kentucky, Bowling Green's metro area are all the counties that ring around Warren County. So it's like the donut counties is what we call them. So, Franklin, for example, Barron County, Logan, Simpson County, those are a part of Bowling Green, Kentucky's metro area. Tacoma just has Pierce County, right? Whereas King County has everything else. We just have Pierce County. But even with that, we have about 1 million people who live in Pierce County. And for some reason, the South Sound, which could advertise itself as the South Sound, similar to how SoCal has done it, there's no way that we can obviously do it even close to that. But you would think that we would have more tourist amenities that we really push down here than what we do. But we don't. And you would think a city the size of what we are would have a lot more entertainment options, but we don't. And that's one of the things that, lags here in Tacoma. Or we do have those things, but they're not well advertised, they're not well known, or some of them are kind of in a state of paralysis, meaning that we have certain key things that have been around for a long time, but they're underutilized, not really used. And that seems to be a big problem here in Tacoma, whether it's from old pocket parks that aren't being used to buildings to actual programs that you would be surprised that we have. But we really have here. Sorry. Okay, hopefully it stops. My phone had to update. I had it turned off forever. But at any rate, that has nothing to do with this situation here. It kind of does. Kenmore Air and the Puyallup Tribe of Indians reached an agreement to actually start doing air tours here in Tacoma using their seaplane. I actually got on the tour with Noel. We flew around. It was really, really good. It was not bad at all. And you were able to see different parts of the region from the Chambers Bay Golf Course, which is awesome. You got to see some views of downtown, however, not enough in my opinion. You got to see close to Mount Rainier. You got to see some different islands, different things like that. The Narrows Bridge One of the things I think that they could have done better is to fly over the city of Tacoma. Being so close, you would think that that would be something that they would do, because otherwise you're flying over a bunch of water and just land, right? There's not a lot of things that stand out other than the Narrows Bridge. There's not a lot of other things that really pop out at you because the mountain is a bit away. But flying over downtown changes things, because then you can say down here is the University of Washington Tacoma, and over here is the museum campus, and we're flying over the Tacoma Dome, right? We're flying over the drawbridge. This is stuff that I think could be added to the tour and gives it a little bit more oomph than what it does. But other than that, I am really appreciative that the Puyallup Tribe of Indians and Kenmore Air finally decided to come down to Tacoma. And I'm happy that the Puyallup Tribe of Indians were actually behind all of that to make this happen. Otherwise, I don't think that Kenmore would have looked at Tacoma. And I think that's foolish, because here's the reason why. A lot of the tourism-related activities are all chucked up in Seattle. I mean, it's overburdened with tourist activities. You can't get a cruise company to come down here. You can't get much to come down here because people thought, well, it's Tacoma. However, in 2 months on a small plane, because Kenmore Air is a seaplane. They operate seaplanes and all those different types of craft. Some of them take off on land. They do different things. But just flying around in a 30-minute tour that costs about $109 per person, in 2 months they were able, and I think the plane holds 8 people, just one plane, they had over 1,000 people in 2 months, bringing in over $100,000 in 2 months. And the reason why they brought in that much money and the demand was so high to where they don't have enough infrastructure here really for it is because there's nothing to do. There's not a damn thing to do because everything is stuck up in Seattle. And I do think if we were in Spokane or a city that's kind of far from being in the shadow of Seattle, we would actually have the things that we deserve and that most cities have of this size, but we don't. And so it took an entity like the Puyallup Tribe of Indians to actually bring Kenmore down here, because otherwise they would have ignored it. And now they realize, yeah, there's stuff that you can put down here. Unfortunately, we have a lot of the art type stuff that's up in Seattle. We have a lot of the, there's a lot of cool creative stuff that comes through, and venues and entertainment and everything else, and they're all vying for the same few dollars up in Seattle. And yes, it's a much bigger market, no question. Most cities do that. But you have a population of 1 million people down here, and being in business down here, I can tell you, a lot of people don't want to go to Seattle just to deal with the traffic. The parking, traffic, all of those things, the juice ain't worth the squeeze, especially when you have a city down here that can support everything that Seattle has. In fact, we have everything that Seattle has, right? In terms of just infrastructural stuff and amenities, we have those things. We just don't have enough hotels here. We don't have enough so that we can attract more tourists. And we can't get folks to build that stuff here because they don't believe in the market. Yet when you see something like this from Kenmore Air and the Puyallup Tribe of Indians, where in 2 months they pulled 1,000 people on a plane that's about as big as this living room, that's pretty much concrete evidence that yes, Tacoma can support a lot of the things that bypass us, right? It can. So tourism here can definitely benefit from this, and it was so successful that when we were there, they were talking about, yeah, we've been booked. When we talked to the lady, she's like, we're only supposed to have this many flights a day. That's kind of what we, thought about. But then we had to add extra because the demand was so high. Now, I know people think that Tacoma is nothing but people crip walking and throwing up gang signs, and you have grandmas, basically smoking doobies. You probably do. But they think that you have grandmas here that are crip walking and gang banging, and that's it. And that's not at all the case. We do have a large population, and we do have a group of people here, quite a few, obviously, that are looking for something to do that's beyond just the basic stuff. So I salute the Puyallup tribe of Indians for pretty much bringing Kenmore down here, and I salute the fact that Kenmore finally decided to come to Tacoma because we have the waterway, Commencement Bay, just like Seattle has, Lake Union. And the other thing, while we're on this topic, is when we were there, the lady said, oh, we're trying to get it to where we can also go to San Juan Islands and hopefully eventually up to Victoria, Canada. But the issue is, well, we have to build more infrastructure. The fuel is a thing, obviously. All this other stuff we're needing in order to do that. Well, they just announced in the newspaper that Kenmore Air, the Puyallup Tribe of Indians, now, in addition to the tour, will offer flights daily, a couple of times a day, to and from the San Juan Islands. Which, if you haven't been here, the San Juan Islands are a big hit. People go all the time. It's a 4-hour drive from here. But on the planes, it takes about an hour. Right? About an hour. And it's a quaint area. Lots of stuff to do. And they're bringing that here because the demand is so high from the air tours. They're still going to do the air tours. But in addition to this, they're also going to do those flights. When I was there and I saw the little seaport that they created, the sea airport, it was big enough to hold at least 2 planes, if not 3, because of the way that they designed it. It's shaped basically like a rectangle, if you will. The planes come in on one side, you walk in on another, and then on the sides, you could technically bank 2 more planes. Right? So in addition to having the one here, you could bank 2 more planes, no problem. Now, I'm not in the aviation industry, and I don't know the requirements and the turnaround and all that stuff. I don't know the details. But just from a layman's view, it looked big enough. And I asked, is it possible for more than 1 plane? And the lady said, oh yeah, we can definitely get 2 there at least. Because I was just trying to figure out, what are they going to do? And so now it states that they're going to actually do this. Now, the ticket prices, because, again, people think that we just don't have any sort of money down here at all, which is not the case. So a lot of these companies don't want to invest because they think we don't have the demand, we don't have the population, we don't have the money. All of that stuff is not true. But let me show you, hold on one second. I had something I got to take care of real quick. I'm always busy doing something. But let me actually show you what is here. So the backing up a little bit, the scenic flights take passengers over the Twin Narrows Bridge, because there's 2 bridges for the Tacoma Narrows. Fox Island, which is where all the hoity-toity people live. I actually have a friend that lives out there. We're trying to get a space out there. That would be cool. Chambers Bay, McNeil, Catron, I'm probably saying that wrong. And it says Fox Islands again, which is, redundant. Gig Harbor and other areas of the South Sound, right? So the service is set to resume in mid-April. So they're going to bring that part back in mid-April. The flights were about $109 each. 30-minute flight, as I mentioned. And now what they're going to do is, hold on, let me find it. I got to go back up to the top. So now, starting May 16th, they will be doing scheduled routes from Tacoma to San Juan Islands. Okay? So they're basically going from the Puyallup Tribe Air Terminal on Ruston Way and to the marinas at Roche Harbor and Friday Harbor. I knew about Friday Harbor, but I wasn't sure. And the flights are going to be about $269 per person. There'll be 2 flights a day. All right, so for about $270 per person, you can fly up there to the San Juan Islands. Right? Now, there's a couple of things of importance here. $270 ain't cheap. right? It's not expensive, but it's not cheap. And typically you're going to have at least a couple that goes up there. So you're going to be paying north of $500 to go to the San Juan Islands, right? Now here's the test, because it talks about in there what their future is, and I'll touch on that. But here's the test. If the success of this launch is similar in terms of demand, like what they did with the tours, then that speaks volumes as to what Tacoma can handle, right? This will be one of the first times, if not the first time, that air service has left from Tacoma to another city, because mostly everything's up at SeaTac and all that, right? This would be the first time that we're able to fly from Tacoma all the way up to the San Juan Islands, which you could potentially see this service expanding to other places, right? So if it shows that this is a success, which all the indicators point that it will be, this is a boom. Now, the other thing is that now the Puyallup Tribe Indians have a personal reason why they want to do this, or a business reason. They bought both restaurants that are there. The terminal is right there. So they have 3 lines of business just right there. The restaurant's going to be called Woven. So it's going to be this unique restaurant that has this pretty famous chef. And they want to make sure that people come and see all their offerings, including their big $400 million casino. They're putting a bunch of stuff over there too. Like, they're building all types of infrastructure, buildings, administrative stuff over on by their casino. Again, the tour should fly over downtown, even over the casino. If their main thing is, hey, let's get people over to the casino, fly over the casino so people will see it, right? That just makes sense to me. I think night flights should happen, because seeing the casino at night is sick, especially from the air would be insane. That, to me, is a logical, easy business decision. So instead of it being a 30-minute flight, make it 35 minutes. Doesn't really hurt you on fuel. Fly over downtown, talk about what you see, fly over the museum, and as you're coming back, or not the museum, but over the casino, and as you're coming back, then you can hit other touch points. You see what I'm saying? So add an extra 5 minutes to the flight, and you're able to touch all of that stuff, and it doesn't really hurt the bottom line. But their goal of doing this is to bring more people to the casino and all their other properties and things like that. So it makes sense. But when you go further into the article, it talks about that the partners are hoping to eventually expand the flight service to Victoria, British Columbia. Right? So again, it's that chicken and egg situation. They have the demand. They're thinking that they have the demand. This is a test. The pilot program was the tour. That was successful. 2 months, $100,000. Ain't bad. Next is, let's do another significant investment and see if we can operate both. This is going to be a busy damn little spot. And let me put it in reference this way. When you're driving on Ruston Way, it's always back-to-back, bumper-to-bumper. You see people running and jogging all on the side, and you see the water. When the flights land, it's just like they come in and just plop down. It's the weirdest thing in the world. And you hear it, you see it. It's becoming a thing where people stand and watch the planes come in. It's a seaplane. So it's this thing that's becoming a local tradition, if you will, to actually watch the planes take off and land, which is now going to be pretty common, because you're going to have not only the 30-minute tours that they're going to be cranking those suckers out quite a bit. I mean, again, $100,000 in 2 months, that's a good ROI. I've seen their air terminal. It didn't cost much to build. So that's good money. It's real good money. This is not a huge plane, 8 passengers, and they're making $100,000 in 2 months over that. Doesn't cost that much to operate this plane, right? The de Havillands, the Otters, it doesn't cost that much to operate them. So now, going up to the San Juan Islands, that's big. That's the next test to see how well it does. And my bet is it's going to do very well. Then it opens up the gate to Victoria, British Columbia. When we were there, we had 3 or 4 people come in asking, well, I want to get a flight up to the San Juans, or I want to get a flight up to, because they're used to what happens up in Seattle. And they're like, I'm sorry, we don't have that. That was just in the 45 minutes that we were there, because we got there ahead of time. That was just in that short window. So they're constantly been bombarded by, hey, we want to take a different thing, not just the tour. And now they're able to satisfy that, right? So this shows that there is demand for this type and other types of business here. It would be great if, in addition to Kenmore Air, that we had other businesses consider Tacoma and bring their businesses here that are going to be entertainment related. Obviously, $100,000, what, $110,000, $120,000 in 2 months ain't bad. It ain't bad. And this was just using one plane. That whole, again, it's about, this room is bigger than the plane. It didn't cost them much to launch the service, and they're going to return it back again. And I'm sure it's going to be booked out again. Now, I want to take the kids on this flight too. So literally, if it was me, Noelle, and the kids, heck, the plane's full. There's going to be a time when Noelle's dad is coming, I think, this year. And we're going to take him on that flight. So if it's me, her dad, her, and all the kids, we've literally sold out the plane. We bought the plane. You see what I'm saying? So it's not like it holds a lot of people. And the fact that you're able to literally do the things that you're doing with that little tiny plane, that's big. So kudos to Kenmore Air. Big salute to the Puyallup Tribe of Indians. It's great that we're now getting air service finally from Tacoma, even if it is over to the San Juan Islands. That's great. I think that there should be other places that we go, even if it's British Columbia. That's great too. That's a big boon to Tacoma's economy. Big boon. So this is great. Tell me what your thoughts are. If you're in Tacoma, definitely give this flight a look. You can go on to Kenmore Air's website. I'm not being sponsored, even though I should be. Not been sponsored or paid. Even give me a free flight. We can talk about that. But at any rate, give them a check. See what you think. Check out the tour. Check out the San Juans, which is going to be insane. Noelle already wants to go. She told me that last year. I want to go to the San Juans. So we'll probably fly up there too. And tell me what your thoughts are. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and comment. And until next time, I will see you. Take care.